I would like to welcome you to my channel, That Middle-Aged Lady. My name is Denise, and in today's video, I was going to do a review of several different face serums I've used over the past several years in order to try and help combat those fine lines and wrinkles that I really started to notice as I approached menopausal age, so late 40s, early 50s. Which ones worked the best, which ones didn't seem to work at all, and which one do I swear by to this day? Before I get started, however, I just wanted to apologize if the quality of the video isn't the best, as that was recently brought to my attention by a couple of my viewers. I was aware of it, and I am definitely working on trying to get maybe a little bit nicer of a phone so I can upgrade my camera or even buy a nice camera altogether. So in the meantime, just wanted to apologize for that, let everybody know this is something that I'm working on, and that I hope everyone will stick with me as I try and do that. Just a quick little background on myself first, since certainly there are going to be things that can contribute to the aging of our skin, and obviously we're all going to have different variables, what our skin types are, how old we are, and then the different factors that can go into perhaps accelerating that aging process. So I am 57 years old. I am a non-smoker, so I've never smoked my whole entire life, although my mother smoked 2 packs a day, so I'm sure that probably didn't help me at all. And I hate to admit this, but I am not one to wear sunscreen, so unfortunately my skin has many years worth of sun exposure. Before I get started, however, I just wanted to give a little bit of information about what even causes wrinkles in the first place and some other interesting facts that I learned along the way of researching this in order to do this video. So if that doesn't sound like something you're interested in hearing, by all means, just skip forward to the review itself. Interesting fact, skin is actually the largest organ in the body and is made up of 3 main layers, being the epidermis, the dermis, and the subcutaneous, or as it's also referred to as the hypodermis layer. Wrinkles occur in that middle layer, being the dermis layer, which contain collagen, a protein that makes cells strong and resilient, and elastin, which helps give skin its elasticity and shape. You can think of it as a rubber band that allows our skin to stretch, then go back down to size again. A good example of this would be a pregnant woman's stomach. As we begin to age, however, we start to lose that elastin and collagen, which in turn causes our skin to sag in places like our jowls, being our chin and neck region, and underneath our arms, while wrinkles start to show up in places like our forehead, near our eyes, and around our mouth. The natural process by which our skin begins to show these signs of aging is referred to as extrinsic aging, which is the inevitable genetically determined process that unfortunately none of us are immune from. While extrinsic aging is when certain external environmental factors accelerate the aging process, such as smoking, sun exposure, pollutants, and even our diets. Other things that can also fall into the category of extrinsic aging are not getting enough sleep, stress, and the habitual facial expressions such as smiling, frowning, squinting, which in turn can lead to those crow's feet, forehead lines, and frown lines. Another interesting fact is that research shows approximately 80% of skin aging is due to UV exposure from the sun. I guess that's why our moms always told us, you better make sure and wear that sunblock or someday you're going to be sorry. Research also shows that most of us will usually start to notice changes happening within our skin sometime after the age of 25, while the most common age group for people to begin looking for skin treatment is between the ages of 40 and 55, with wrinkles becoming even more prominent after the age of 65. I do have another video that I've already uploaded that goes into a little more detail on the subject, along with what foods we should be eating in order to help replenish that lost collagen that we begin to lose as we age. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, you will find it on my channel, That Middle-Aged Lady. And lastly, here is a chart that shows what some of those fine lines and wrinkles on our faces are called. If you need more time to explore, please feel free to pause the video. So in my particular case, I really didn't start noticing wrinkling happening on my face until I was probably entering into my 40s. And the first thing I noticed were just a little bit of crow's feet, definitely some lines underneath my eye area. And then I had a couple lines right here that were starting to form that are referred to as marionette or puppet lines. And then another thing that really was troublesome to me was that I noticed I was starting to get these deep wrinkles on my chest. I am a side sleeper, so just that habitual habit of sleeping in that same position every single night obviously, helped to make those creases form. And then as I began to age and I started to lose that elastin and collagen, obviously those wrinkles just became even deeper. And so because of that, I knew that I wanted to try and find some type of either face cream or face serum that would help to maybe make it not appear quite as prominent as they are. And in case you're curious what they look like, this is a picture of those chest wrinkles. I grew up with a mother who always drilled it in my head, starting at a young age, the importance of not only wearing sunscreen, but also using face lotions as well. Whenever you took a shower or took a bath, whatever the case may be, she said it was very important that you want to make sure and keep your skin hydrated. So starting in, I would say around 11 or 12 is when my mom would start buying me these different face creams and insisted that I used them, telling me that you're going to be surprised how quickly, age is going to catch up with you, and you don't want to end up having your skin look like a prune when you're 50 or 60 years old. And so I'm glad, although I thought she was annoying at that time, I'm glad that she taught me that routine, because it's something that I've continually used all these years, and even taught my own two daughters who are now adults and have said the same thing, that they're thankful that, I drilled it in their head then, the importance of using face creams. Obviously, I have no way to go back in time and know whether it really did my skin any good or not to use them all of these years, but at least certainly it made me feel better for doing so. When I first started to notice these deep-seated wrinkles on my chest, however, none of the face creams that I had seemed to do anything as far as making them look less prominent. And so that is when I decided to go out and see if I couldn't find something more specifically tailored towards some of those deep wrinkles. The market is so vast that it becomes overwhelming in trying to figure out what exactly ones you should even be getting. For those of you who might be curious what the difference is between a face cream and or moisturizer and a face serum, face creams have a thicker consistency to them and are formulated to help hydrate our skin and lock that moisture in, therefore trying to combat any type of dryness in our skin. Whereas face serums have a much lighter texture to them, are more heavily concentrated so that they can penetrate deeper into the skin and hopefully help to either prevent and or repair some of those deeper wrinkles. I did do research on this, and according to everything I've read, it is okay to use both, but you definitely want to start with that lighter texture, being the face serums first, so that it can penetrate deep into the skin, because otherwise if you start with that lotion first, that means that serum has to then go through the lotion in order to get deep into the skin. So you definitely want to start with the face serum first, give that a good minute or two to completely dry and penetrate deep into the skin, and then you can go ahead and put your moisturizer on top of that. In my case, I decided to stick with just the serums since their active ingredients is more concentrated and they're known to penetrate deeper into the skin. Since these marionette lines on my face and then the wrinkles on my chest, it seems like they were, just kept getting deeper and deeper the older I got. So plus that way, there are so many, like I said, so many different face creams and serums even out there to try. I felt like I would go broke even trying just a quarter of them. So I just did my research, looked at the reviews, saw what each of the different serums boasted to claim, and, just kind of spun that wheel and picked whichever one the wheel happened to land on first. With that being the Olay Regenerating Serum. I paid $28 for a 1.7 ounce bottle of it. And it is a little bit thicker than a lot of the serums that I've tried, but this is what it looks like. It's just a white serum that, again, it's, thinner than moisturizer, but a little bit thicker than a lot of the serums. And the main active ingredients in this would be vitamin B3, which is known to help lock in moisture and to keep your skin hydrated. It boasts that after about 2 months, you should be able to notice a visible difference with those fine lines and wrinkles. I used it for about 3.5 months, and I'm going to be honest in saying I noticed absolutely no difference whatsoever, not even on the finer little wrinkles and lines that I had on my face as well. And so I decided to give this product up and go ahead and move on to the next. The next serum I decided to try was the L'Oréal Revitalift 1.5% Hyaluronic Acid. Hyaluronic acid is a sugar molecule that is known to help give our skin its moisture and its plumpness. And because I really felt if I could just find a product that could kind of plump my skin up a little bit, since that's another thing we go through as we age, our skin begins to lose its fat. And once that happens, it begins to thin out and it starts to notice all these little creases. Think of it like a balloon. You got a balloon that is only halfway blown up. It's kind of wrinkly, but then when you blow up more, then all of those lines or creases that were in it suddenly disperse and it looks, perfectly smooth again. Same thing happens with our skin. As we begin to lose that collagen and elastin, and especially that fat that's actually deeper down into that subcutaneous layer, once we start to lose that fat, that's when our skin thins out, and that's when we lose all that plumpness. Who knew that fat could actually be a good thing? And so that's why I decided to try this one. I thought maybe if it could work on, that particular area, plumping up that skin, maybe that would make a difference. And I have to say that I was very excited to try this and kept my fingers crossed that maybe this would be the one to work. I paid $32 for a 1.7 ounce bottle of this. And unlike the first serum I showed you, since this is made from the hyaluronic acid, it is a little bit sticky since it has that sugar molecule. So I'll show you what that looks like best I can because it is clear. And so that is, I don't know if you can see that, hopefully you can, but that's what that looks like. And it also is a little bit oily. So it has a little bit of like stickiness to it. I don't know, you probably can't even see that well on there, but it has a little bit of stickiness to it and then a little bit of oilness to it. So whenever I would put it on my face, I just felt like it was taking way too long to dry, or even on my chest. And I just really did not like the texture of it. Even after I would put face powder on afterward, I still felt like I could feel kind of that oily, sticky kind of texture to it. But if it would work, then I was willing to, live with that. Used it for about 3 months as well. And once again, felt so much disappointment when I didn't seem to notice a lick of difference. So it did nothing for the marionette lines and it did nothing for the lines on my chest as well. At this point, I was starting to feel pretty self-conscious whenever I would wear a shirt that would show those wrinkles on my chest. I honestly felt like, people would look at me and then their eyes would automatically look down at those wrinkles and they kind of have almost like a disgusted look on their face. Maybe I'm just being paranoid, maybe I'm imagining things, but that's the way that I felt. In the wintertime, I could wear a shirt where the collar was up a little bit higher to hide those wrinkles, but that obviously becomes a little bit more difficult to do in the warmer months when you don't want to be wearing anything that's too high up, or even if you're going to wear a bathing suit. And so because of my embarrassment of that, and not just the lines on my chest, but that one particular marionette line on my face, on the right side of my face as well, that seemed to be getting deeper and deeper, I decided I'm just going to go to the dermatologist and see what she has to say. She made the suggestion that I could try collagen injections, which would then help to plump up the skin, and she was sure that that would probably help. The only issue was that they cost anywhere between $300 to $500 a pop, and apparently they only last for about 3 months. So that means that every 3 months I would have to go back in and have another collagen injection done. I didn't even look into, exactly how painful they are or what exactly goes into them, because as soon as I heard that price and then heard that I would have to have it done every 3 months, I knew that there was no way I could afford that. So her next suggestion was that I try a retinol product that they sell at their dermatologist office, but you can also get it online. I don't think you need a prescription for it, but it is prescription strength. So it's 0.5% pure retinol. My hope was that because it had more retinol in it than you could get over the counter, that maybe this would be the thing that I needed. So I hate to admit this, but I paid $100 for a 1 ounce bottle. And I will show you what it looks like. It's kind of got like this weird yellowish kind of orangish tint to it, but that is what that looks like. And it is a little bit thicker than the other 2 serums I tried as well, which I was hoping maybe was a good thing, that maybe, get more retinol in my face and on my chest. She did make sure and let me know ahead of time that you want to start out using it only maybe once or twice a week and then kind of work your way up, since it can cause a lot of sensitivity in the skin. It can cause your skin to become red, dry, and even get really flaky. And then she said to make sure and use sunscreen as well after applying it, because it definitely can interact with the sun. So I did do both of those things, started out using it twice a week to every other day, until eventually I worked my way up to using it every day just at night before I went to bed after I took a shower. Used it on my chest, used it on the marionette lines, and then used it under my eyes as well. I used it for a total of about 3 months, but once again, I didn't notice any type of difference whatsoever. And I just couldn't, in my mind, see paying another $100 to get another bottle, since I was just about out of it, only for it to not work again. I felt like, You know, at this point, I was, investing way too much into this for it not to work. It actually has good reviews, so obviously other people swear by it, but in my case, it just didn't seem to do any bit of good, and I just couldn't justify paying $100 for a 1-ounce bottle for something that, after using it for 3 months, I noticed absolutely no difference in my skin whatsoever. The next and final face serum that I decided to try, I found just by chance. I went into Walmart, went into the skincare aisle, found the face serums, and then basically went eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and that's how I ended up with this one. I figured I put so much time and research into the other 3 and they didn't end up working at all, so I was just going to pick whatever I was going to pick. This is also in the L'Oréal family, so just like the pure hyaluronic acid was, it is 0.3% pure retinol, so 0.2% less than the prescription strength. And then I had said that the hyaluronic acid was 1.7 ounces, but I'm pretty sure they're more like 1.1. They don't say anywhere on the bottle, but I'm pretty sure they're 1.1 ounces. And so I brought it home, didn't really have much expectation of it. Let me show you what it looks like. So same exact kind of bottle as the other. And this also has kind of like a light yellowish tint to it. But that is what it looks like, if you can get a good look at that. And so brought it home, took my shower, washed my face good, put it on, and within 2 hours, I noticed a difference. I put it not only just on that marionette line, but around my whole face and then on my chest as well. I have to say that although it did kind of help with the lines on my chest a little bit, at this point, I feel like those lines are just so deep, they've penetrated so deeply down, that I don't really think, other than maybe having the collagen injections, it's not going to be a lot of high hope for that particular area of my body. And so either I'm just going to have to embrace, the process of aging and let people know it is what it is, or just continue to hide them. I guess it depends on however I'm feeling on that one particular day. But as far as the marionette lines went, and as far as all the other different fine lines and wrinkles on my face went, I absolutely love this product. I absolutely swear by this product. And considering I paid $35, which is a lot different than the $100 I paid for 0.2% more pure retinol, I am more than happy to pay that $35, every 2-3 months until the product ends up running out. Here's a picture of before I applied the retinol serum to my face, and then a picture after I applied it and then went ahead and put my face powder on as well. Obviously, there is no perfect face cream or serum out there. If there were, then whoever invented it would be a very rich person, and all of us wouldn't have to go shopping around because we'd automatically know which product to get. All of these different face serums don't claim to be that perfect product, but rather they claim to reduce those fine lines and wrinkles in order to be able to make them appear not quite as prominent. And so I think that is, the battle is, out of all of these different ones that you can choose from, finding that one that is able to reduce those fine lines and wrinkles the best, so that you are able to hide them and maybe feel a little bit more comfortable, when going out in public and people seeing whatever it is that you're trying to hide. In my case, I swear by the L'Oréal 0.3% pure retinol face serum. But, obviously, again, as I said in the beginning of the video, we all have different skin types. We all have different circumstances that play into that aging process of our skin. So it's hard to say whether or not it would work for you. But the way I see it, it's always nice to have a recommendation from somebody who does swear by something, so that when you go into an aisle and you've got all these different products to choose from, at least you have one particular one that you can try and then see where it takes you. Just like my mom used to always say, age is going to creep up on you before you know it, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. I realize now, only being 3 years away from 60, that she wasn't kidding, and it's hard not to wonder where the time went. And although, yes, I feel embarrassed when I feel like people are looking at those lines on my chest or the marionette lines that are deep on my face, I also have to remind myself that it's a privilege to make it this far in life, because not everybody gets to. And so that's the point where I'm at in my life, is that I am who I am, and it is what it is. That isn't to say I'm not going to do whatever I can to make myself feel better, but at the same time, I can't stop the aging process. And so I'm just going to embrace it. That's all that I can do, is thank God that I've made it this far in life, and I'm going to embrace it. If there's face serums and or creams that you've tried and you swear by them, then I would love for you to leave a comment and share that with my other viewers. Other than that, I just want to thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll look forward to seeing everybody next time.